So in order to add an agent from lmsystems to Cursor, you go to lmsystems.ai, you go to our marketplace, and you select the agent you want to use. In this case, we use Access Search React Agent. You just go to the top of the screen and copy the MCP URL, and you purchase access to the graph in order to use it. And then you go to add MCP server URL to Cursor, and we're going to paste that URL and add a name for our server. This is for Cursor to see as the name, and we have descriptions set already so Cursor can see to use the tool. You're going to want to add your API key and graph name to this URL input box, and then press save. Now everything's set up, you're ready to use the Cursor agent. You can be sure to use the agent one in Composer and then send your message. In this case, we're specifying the actual URL for the agent to search through because one of the parameters is include URLs, so it filters based on that URL. This is kind of difficult to use for the agent because the Langgraph documentation is very new and the Cursor agent doesn't even know it exists. So I actually have to give it the URL so it knows it exists. But for major sites, it's going to know the URL naturally. And I guess this is an example of a bad graph to use for the Cursor Composer agent, and we're hoping to create better graphs specifically geared towards using it in Cursor. This one was made for mainly applications. We're trying to make it easier for people to make graphs specifically for Cursor and to save inputs, such as the include domain input for this graph in their configuration. So yeah, as you can see from the user perspective, it's super easy to use. You just copy the URL and paste in the MCP server input box in Cursor. And then the Cursor then has it as a tool. And since it's so simple, the Cursor just inputs the parameters and then the tool actually runs. A lot can be done with this. You can build some very cool AI applications with this. And some applications we're looking to see are ones such as AI apps that control your AWS account, AI apps that control your external accounts just in general, like Supabase, Vercel, WordPress, that control your accounts, and then you can tell your Cursor agent to have that app do something, and it goes off and does it. And since you can save parameters such as like API keys on LM systems as input variables, we automatically inject those for you. And so we'll exclude those from the Cursor Composer agent and inject them in the backend. So if you're using a WordPress graph, for example, and this graph controls your entire WordPress site via the WordPress site API, and you tell the Cursor agent to have it create a blog post for it, or just tell it to start the run. You can tell it just to initiate the run. You don't even need feedback from it. I know the example we showed you is for research. Research would be a really good use case for this, but I think it'll be solved. And I think how we move past that is to allow the Cursor agent to initiate runs with other agents running in the cloud, like ones that control your browser, that control your website, that have access to your AWS account, that can do Excel. This is all things that Langgraph apps can do if you make them do it. And now there's a way to communicate with them. There's an interface for it. It's called Cursor. I hope you guys are inspired by this. I hope you can build some really cool stuff. This is wild. Email me if you want to post your graph. I'll be eager to post anyone's graph. And so this is essentially the first AI app store in the world for Cursor. So looking forward to your feedback and you guys using it and creating graphs.